from me and my friend Larry here. Yes, I've had this shirt for 12 years. I even paint in it. I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon. VeggieTales rocks. Anyway, I'm doing kind of a different video today. I was feeling kind of crazy. We've got some things going on with some friends of ours, and I'm climbing the walls just waiting for news. And so I wanted to actually tackle something serious, but I'm going to handle it in kind of a lighthearted way, because if I don't handle it in a lighthearted way, I'm going to cry. Because I've seen this time and time again. I saw it as a Christian, you know, and I've seen it also in Hebrew roots. It's nothing new. There is nothing new under the sun, as Solomon said. And this is you see your friends slowly descending into following a cultish leader. And I'll admit, I've done it too. And I bet a lot of you have. But I want to kind of go through the 10 indicators that I see going on, you know, every time that this happens. Because, you know, when we see it, you know, hopefully we can stand in and you know, the sad thing is there's no going to these people because they don't see it. But as soon as you see the warning signs, you can start praying for them, and you can know how to stop it dead in its tracks so that it doesn't infect you. So anyway, you might be following a cultish leader if your leader encourages you to do their dirty work for them, spamming the ministries of other teachers with their materials, harassing other ministries, or personally showing up to indoctrinate people at their teachings afterwards, but never willing to do it themselves. You stop speaking your own words and speak theirs instead, thinking that they are your own words. Or this one is another one. If you love your friends and family, you will tell them to show up for our services on the Sabbath. You know, and that's like, okay. That's where, you know, if I love my family, they have to be listening to you. That's a little cultish. Yeah. Anyway, number 9. That was number 10. By the way, number 9, your leader puts everything in us versus them terms. They are bad and we're good. They are unfaithful and we are faithful. They're racist, anti-Semites, jerks, whatever. But we are loving and walking in the truth. Pray for them so they'll be more like us. Okay? Okay, number 8. If you have been encouraged to mistake listening to your teachers for studying to show yourself approved. If you trust that teacher so much that you take their word for everything and don't spend any time asking questions. If you only read, you know, if you only use the study materials that they put out, and if you're actively discouraged from going outside the acceptable material that they preach from, you know, that's a big, yeah. And I'm not talking about, you know, saying don't read the Quran when you've only been reading the Bible for a month. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, I don't want you to read anything other than Strong's definitions, because if you do, you are going to know I am making this up as I go along, and I'm not nearly as educated as I want you to think I am. Okay? The teacher doesn't give you any cause to ever doubt them. Yeah, hinky. Hinky alert. Okay. If you spam your own page, this number 7, if you spam your own page, as well as the pages of other people with your teacher's teachings, regardless of whether they want you to or not, thinking that you're doing them a favor, that's just creepy as heck. I mean, I don't even spam other people's pages with my own teaching. Keep it on my pages. Because that's just creepy. If God wants somebody to watch the stuff that I do or to read something I do, he can send them over to my page. He doesn't need me advertising myself. He doesn't need me advertising the other teachers I work with on other people's pages either. He doesn't need it. No. Okay. Number 6, if you feel you know this teacher personally, know their heart, know their intentions, and their character, even though you have never met them personally and have no long-term history with them, you might be following a cultish leader. I'll tell you something, there are seducing spirits out there. There's one teacher in particular that, oh my gosh, I'll tell you something. He preaches pure nonsense. Okay, and the more I study ancient Near Eastern context and first century context, and the real meanings of words and all that, the more I know that his teachings are just hinky city. Great googly moogly. It's bad. But I listen to this guy, and he makes me want to believe him. He makes me feel like if I believe him, I'm smarter, more special, whatever, than the people who don't get it. That is dangerous. Ooh, my husband's home early. Yay. Okay. Going on with this, because that means I have to get dinner in the oven. Okay. If you feel a deep emotional attachment to the leader and his teachings, and you long for their approval or the approval of whatever group they represent, you might be following a cultish leader. People, these are just preachers. These are just teachers. I should hope that no one would want my approval badly enough that they're sitting up at night longing for it, badly enough that they will just believe what I tell them in the hopes that it's going to get them in good with me. No. Oh my gosh, that's just creepy. I keep using that word, but there it is. It's creepy. Okay, number 4, and this one is the one that always just breaks my heart. The only time anymore that you comment on your friends' threads is if you see them posting something in agreement with or in disagreement with your leader's teachings. That is a big indicator that you have lost your focus on our teacher, Yeshua, Jesus. If the only time you can come on my page and disagree with me or talk to me is if I'm saying something that directly, what's the word? Impacts your teacher and your belief in your teacher's teachings, then you've gone too far. That's creepy. Okay, creepy. That's my new word. Number 3, you might be following a cultish leader if you fear for the salvation of anyone who is not in lockstep with your teacher. I mean, we've all seen this one. If somehow you equate obedience and walking in the light with walking in the teachings of your teacher, and if your only teacher is Yeshua, then you're right. Okay? Okay. But nobody else's teachings come up to that level. No. No, 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 no. Number 2, if your teacher tells you that their ministry is the only ministry preaching the whole gospel and instill you with fear at the thought of leaving their flock, if they tell you who you can and cannot listen to, read, or associate with, I mean, these are huge red flags. Huge red flags. When they treat you like you're their sheep, instead of, Yeshua's sheep, that's messed up. Okay, we are the sheep of God's pasture, not the sheep of Reverend Smith down the street or Rabbi Joe. No. No, 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 no. It's arrogant, and it shows such a lack of trust and a lack of respect for God. I'm gonna be really honest here. There are millions of people who are going to be just fine without ever having listened to anything that I teach. No, I'm serious. I know you're shocked. I know you're shocked. But it's true. The world was fine before I got into it. And it's going to be okay after I'm gone. It just is. Not that important. Neither's anyone else. Okay? Okay? All right. This is a big one. And I see this one probably more than any other. You might be following a cultish leader if you have ever stood by and watched and excused your leader for abusing a member of the flock, as though people are expendable losses in the wake of a great man or woman's ministry goals. That was number one. It deserves to be number one. Boy, I've seen it. We've all seen it. I've seen ministers shame people. I've seen them gossip behind the scenes. I've seen them undermine members of their flock who are developing their own ministries as though we're supposed to be in the pews forever. You know, and we're not allowed to, I mean, what's the purpose of ministry if it isn't to raise up other ministers? But not everyone feels that way. A lot of ministers out there are cultish because they believe that everyone they raise up should be serving their ministry and not breaking out on their own, or only breaking out as a satellite ministry. But that's wrong. We have to do whatever God has put out there for us to do, and it's not in service of any man. It isn't. It's in service of God. And if God is not the boss of your ministry, I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with working in cooperation with other ministries. As a matter of fact, if we're not working in cooperation with other ministries, then we're not really ministers. We're kingdom builders, our own kingdom. Okay? Building God's kingdom means we work together. We work for the betterment of our students or the people who we are privileged to shepherd for a while. We show them where the grass is, and we let them eat as much as they want, and we let them choose which patches to eat. We don't force feed them. If they belong in another pasture for a while or forever, we point the way, and we send them off with blessings. We need to be able to see them as God's sheep and not our sheep, and always look at what's best for them. That's it. We have to be really careful, especially when we're new. It's easy to get messed up with these guys. It's easy to develop an emotional attachment to a leader because of some lacking in our lives or something that's hurting in our past. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I used to minister to people who were emotionally wounded and abused. And there's no easier group for a cultish leader to get in under the skin of. All you have to do, and it's like, great, I'm giving them advice, but they don't need my advice. They know how to do this. A cultish leader knows that all they have to do is identify a wounded person and fill that need. Whether that need is for a surrogate husband, surrogate father, reminds them of a teacher they had once that they loved. You need to crawl into their loss and fill it. And they will never question your intentions. We need to make sure we aren't giving people that kind of power. We need to make sure we don't have that much of an emotional attachment to any teacher but Yeshua, Jesus. Otherwise, we're in danger. Otherwise, we're always going to be in danger, and we are going to be easy pickings for whoever can fill that emotional void, whether it's to feel loved, accepted, or just smarter than everyone else. The enemy will take whatever bad fruit in our lives and he will use it to attach us to Messiah surrogates, Messiah substitutes. And so we need to be very introspective, figure out what our malfunctions are to get them dealt with, or else we're going to be derailed. Anyway, that's it for today. have a wonderful Sabbath, and I'll see you next week when when I reveal my secret sources for scriptural context articles, many of which are going to be free. Anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Shabbat Shalom.